What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So basically, since our Q3 earnings, we've trickled down, no real short-term catalyst to kind of really give us a nice boost up. We do have some as far as CPI data coming out this upcoming Thursday, but outside of that, I want to go over the fundamentals of SoFi right now and what the data is telling us. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. It's greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So like I said, no fundamental news out of SoFi. Obviously, there was a little bit more back and forth between Elon and Anthony on Twitter, potentially about a very good opportunity for SoFi to bring in a hell of a lot of good customers. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything concretely amount to anything, but let me know your thoughts on that. As you can see on the intraday chart though, not really too much is happening. We did start off very strong for today, tapered off with a little bit, but at the end of the day, we do follow the data. So when it comes down to the data, what I mean by that is several different points, one of which is the technicals. I'm a big technicals fan, so I'm going to go over all of that fun jazz that you need to know. But one abnormality that I have noticed is looking at a lot of the short interest lately. So looking at the short interest as of right now, short score is currently 71, utilization is back at 100%, showing 100% of the available shares to short is currently out. And as of right now, just giving you a good breakdown of what's happening today, 505,000 shares are being returned. Short interest right now is 13.03. 104.67 million shares are being shorted. Cost to borrow average, the average is 0.15. So that is extremely low. The reason why we can get that low is because once again, you look at the cost to borrow minimum. It's been a while since I've seen it negative. In case you guys aren't really familiar with that, cost to borrow negative means that there is a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi. In fact, they're paying them 0.20%. So at the end of the day, that is manipulation at its finest. So once again, SoFi has been in a little bit more of a difficult scenario. We have amazing good earnings. We have very good deposits and everything like that. So even more so looking at this data that was recently posted on Twitter, it is comparing SoFi with a lot of other banks. More specifically, the growth. So you do see the deposits in Q1 versus Q3, the difference. Of course, we aren't the biggest out there, but as far as on a percentage basis, 1,000,000% we are top. So again, we have a very good diamond in the rough. Just unfortunately, the market seems to really hate us, plain and simple. And even more so on a positive note coming from fundamental for SoFi, based on the Q3 earnings, I really like this point. And when I did live stream the earnings, this stood out to me from the get-go. And even Anthony kind of really said it in a way that he's really proud of. So looking right here, we've had a really strong metrics in checking and savings and have a really high quality. 50% of our newly funded SoFi money accounts are setting up direct deposits by day 30 versus 37% in the second quarter. So clearly they're moving a lot faster. So definitely a very positive thing when it comes down to that. And like I said, SoFi is doing a lot of good things fundamentally, increasing the customers. And if you increase customers, you're going to increase every aspect of your business. You're going to increase products. You're going to also increase deposits. So again, we have a very good company. I know this is a very testing time and it really does suck coming from an investor standpoint. The fact that you do see a lot of good actual data coming out all to validate SoFi's business, but then unfortunately the stock just goes down. Plain and simple. It really does suck. But looking on the technicals as of right now, we are exactly at that central boiling band. So we are at a very pivotal point. And this is where a lot of bears are feeding off of this fear per se. And so keep in mind, if we do break below that central boiling band, then most likely we'll be sub $5. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. And keep in mind though, even if I say it may go down below $5, I'm still a long-term SoFi investor. I know long-term is going to do a lot of amazing things. And as I always say, it's trying to disrupt one of the oldest sectors. So it's not an easy task, but we did go very much from overbought to now oversold. So stochastic is currently at 27, but you do still see that deviation, so red line above the black, showing a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. And looking at momentum, despite the pullback on the price, retail investors are still for the most part maintaining itself, so that could be seen as a very, very positive sign. I'm going to go over a couple additional things, one of which is the dark pool transactions. So I've really been monitoring what's been happening both on the secondary market and the dark pool. So these are the transactions so far today that's been occurring. Keep in mind, we're about 4 minutes before for the close of the market today. And so right here, you do see a little bit more of on the lower end today. So again, that might be a little bit more of a precursor for a warning sign. Maybe institutions are potentially taking a step back, but on the secondary market, volume is up. So that could be seen as a positive sign. Keep in mind, there's a lot of conflicting information going on. This is exactly why we do, and we are getting these kind of intraday swings per se. We don't necessarily know exactly where to go, and it really does suck, like I said, coming from an investor standpoint. But let me know your thoughts on SoFi in the comments below, and if you've been buying, selling, holding, whatever it might be, give yourself a shout out. I'm going to also give you a good overview on options. And like I said, even though we've gone down fundamentally, a lot of the data behind the scenes is A, showing that we're being manipulated, or B, very bullish. One bullish point is looking at the put/call ratio. And as you can see, we're currently at 0.52, meaning that there's a lot of calls being purchased. Again, that could be interpreted that obviously the assumption is SoFi is at a very big discount and that we should be a lot higher. That's clearly how I interpret when I do see that low of a put/call ratio. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But like I said, let me know your thoughts on SoFi in the comments below. Are you starting to lose a little bit of interest? What's your thoughts based on as well the Q3 earnings? And potentially, what do you see as the next big catalyst for SoFi? Of course, if they do announce that options activity for SoFi Invest to come out, that is and will be a very big catalyst, because theoretically, based on Robinhood's recent earnings, it went up 10% just based on that front. So hopefully that should mimic that exactly for SoFi. So I think that might be a little bit more of a short-term catalyst. Keep in mind, they did say that it's going to be done by the tail end of the year. So we have roughly about 2 months to sit tight on that. But unfortunately, we just have to go with the flow right now, and the flow seems to be a little bit more stagnant, if not a little bit more negative. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. It's always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.